Okay, we're going to do a couple things to our Pong game. I'm not going to post the code for this, but a few people asked, so let's do it. So first off, I'm going to do smooth motion. That should be quick. Notice it doesn't move like a game should move. And then I'm going to do some power-ups. So how are we going to do that? First off, we're going to go to our hero class, and we're going to give it... Actually, does hero already have an X speed? No, he doesn't. X speed. Int X speed equals 0. Okay, now notice he doesn't have a move either, so let's go public void move. And how does it move? Well, X equals X plus X speed. Now currently he's not moving at all because X speed is 0, so he just sits there. Now we do have to call move, and we call move in our timer, which is the paint component. So paint, and we might as well move it in the same spot where we move the bubbles and where we move the laser. So we're just going to say h.move. Okay, so that function, hero.move, is going to call every roughly, I don't know, 100 times a second, depending on what this sleep does. So instead of physically moving the hero, we're just going to say x speed 10. And then here we're going to say x speed equals -10. And I think that works. Nope. I have an error. Why do I have an error? X speed. Oh, it's not x speed. It is h.x speed. And same with this. H dot. Okay, now that should work. Now one of the things is 10 is way too much. So let's make it 4 and 4. Now we go like that. One of the things you'll notice is that if I let go, it doesn't stop. So what I could do is bring this over to the key released and say, if he releases that, then set it to 0. Right? And same with this. If he releases that, then set it to 0. So that makes it so when you let go of the key, he stops moving. We should be good. And that's called smooth motion. It's way better motion. Actually, I do think there is one thing I did wrong. I think, do I have a key pressed? It looks good. It looks right. It's still not perfect. Something's off. I don't know. Anyways, that's smooth motion. Now, let's do the other thing that I said I was going to do is we was going to do power-ups. Now, power-ups are a bit more involved. I'm going to make one power-up, and I'm going to ask my class to quiet down. Hey, guys, I'm recording a video. Could you please quiet down a little bit? Thank you. So let's make a class power-up. Now, power-up, I'm going to copy laser. Okay? It's going to be like a laser. Yeah, I don't need all the move because I would likely delete a lot of it, so I'm just going to copy a little bit of the top of laser. I'm going to go before the end of the program, because I don't want it to be outside the program. I want it to be inside. So I've got all this space between the last class and the next one. And we can always highlight brackets to be like, I want to be after bubble. And if I highlight the bracket, or after laser, that's the start of laser, that's the end of laser. And sometimes if you want to keep track as they go, you go end of laser. So now I'm making a new class. This is called Power-Up. Okay. This is its move. This is its ending. So that's the beginning of Power-Up. That's the end. Now a lot of them, like a lot of the times, it's going to have the same components: an X, a Y, a width, a height. So that's good. I don't think that Power-Ups need an X speed. They're just going to fall down. Okay, and if they hit the ground, they stop and they wait. So if their Y is greater than 400, which is pretty far down the screen, and Y is greater than initialize less than 450. So around the zone where it hits around the floor, oh, less than equal to, yeah, so something like that. Maybe I just want it to stop. So when it hits the floor, it's gonna stop. Okay. So what else? That's the power up. That looks a little bit good. And now, that's good. I might do something where the power up respawns, but I think I'll leave that out for now. It's been a little too complex. Now that's the class. That's the definition of a power up, but we don't have a power up until we go up and declare it. Now, if I wanted to get fancy, I could make an array of power ups. But I think for a standard game, I probably only need one, and I'll just reuse it. Power up, PU, and then we always have, so this is where we declare it, and this is where we initialize it. You can't initialize it up there. PU equals new power up. Okay, so now we have this thing called PU. Everyone can use it, and we're good to go. Now, what else do we need to do? We need to paint it, and we need to move it. So let's go to our paint component. Just like we moved the hero, we're gonna move the power up. And just like we paint the laser and the hero, we're gonna paint the power up. Okay, so let's see. PU. Now let's see if it falls and stops. Now I'm going to make it start, and I'm going to do that in my thing. Right after I declare it, I'm going to force it. I want you to be on the top of the screen and fall down. So pu.y equals, I don't know, 0. So it's going to start up at the top. And pu.x is going to be, let's say, 300, somewhere in the middle of the screen. So I should see it start, and pu.x, it doesn't have, it should have an x. Maybe I deleted it. Oh, there's an equal. Okay, let's go. Okay, gone, not there. Let's try again. Now I did have a Y speed, so who knows what its Y speed was. Power up, Y speed is -2. What does that do? That makes it go up to, actually I want its Y speed to be 2, to go down. Okay, that's the power up. Now notice that power up, first it stops at the wrong spot. The numbers I used weren't good. Plus it doesn't look like a power up, it should be square. So let's make it 4040. We can turn it to an image later. Let's make this number bigger, like 6 and 650. So now we have something that falls down, right? And it lands. Oh, look, it's waiting for the hero to touch it. Now the hero's got to know if it touches it. So in hero.move, we have collision code. Now I don't have any collision code yet, but let's see. We get it from here. That's collision code. It tracks to see if one object touches another. So let's copy it. Let's go in hero.move. And the X, notice there's an X here. The X is referring to the hero because I'm in the hero. The B is referring to a bubble, but I don't want to know if I hit a bubble. I want to know if I hit the power up. So I'm changing all the B's to PUs. And sometimes when you do complicated stuff like this, like we could imagine what we actually want to do when we hit the power up. But we might also just want to do a print line to verify that it's working. System.out.println. Congrats, you got a power up. Right? Let's see if it works. Right. Oh, wow. Darn it. Okay, it's still not coming to the right level. So let's go back here and let's say, I don't know, 7. 750. Okay, so it's detecting it. We're good. The numbers aren't quite right, but they're good enough. So now, what do we actually want to do? Well, one of the things I said is we can define it in here. So let's make a type. Int type equals 0. And now let's in our brain, let's try and remember what the types are. 0 is going to be make bullet bigger. 1 is going to be make hero faster. And 2 is going to be health. Right, look, sounds good enough. So let's go over here, and now we know in the hero.move when we hit it what to do. We say if pu.type is equal to, I already forget. Actually, we're probably gonna let's copy this code so we have it there too, right? And there's better ways to do this. We could use variables and stuff so that we don't have to like copy this comment all over. Eventually, this would be hard with like 15 types of variables to keep track of it. But this works. So 0 is making it the bullet bigger. Well, let's make the bullet bigger. L1 dot width equals 100. L1 dot height. Now, if you have like an array of lasers, this might be harder to do because you'd have to use a for loop there. But I'm just doing some random types of power-ups. So there's lots of power-ups we could do. And I would just suggest using the ones that make the most sense for your game. If, on the other hand, if it's 1, we're going to make the hero faster. This one actually, I thought I was being smart. But look, that actually is a tricky one because I just made the hero faster, right? And I was using X speed, but the problem is with that, that the key pressed assigns the speed, right? So I could change the base variable. I don't know, I might actually get rid of that because I don't know that it's worth it. So I'm actually going to change that because I don't really like the idea of doing that, making the hero faster. I was kind of like just spitballing anyways. We could slow down the bubble speed. Yeah, we could actually slow down the entire game. Let's say 1 make bubbles slower. Okay, let's do that last though. Let's make that 2. And let's do one health because health is easy. Alright, and then we'll make bubbles slower. I'll show you. That'll be the end of the video. So that's what we're gonna do. First off, okay, 1 is just gonna make the hero's health bigger. Now, am I in the hero? I'm in the hero, and I have a health. Let's just set my health to 100. Okay, so there we go. That's the other one. And lastly, we're gonna slow down all the bubbles. Let's do that. Else, if pu.type equals 2. Okay, this one's a little bit tougher because I have many bubbles, right? I can't to slow them all down, I need a for loop. And we have that for loop in our paint. We use it all over the place. Anytime we want every bubble, what do? We use a for loop. For I equals 0 to the end of the list, go through it, get that bubble out of the list, and call it B. So now what I want to do is when I hit that bubble, right, what do? I go, I have a bubble. That's every bubble in the list. And what do I want to do? I want to say B dot X speed equals B dot X speed. I don't know, div 2. B dot Y speed equals B dot Y speed div 2. Usually when you do this, you have to cast it as an int because that could be a fraction, so we have to round it. You say if it's not an integer, make it an integer. Okay, and the only other thing is I didn't move. Notice I didn't move the power up. When you hit the power up, it should go away. So let's put it back at the top so it falls down again. Bu dot Y equals negative 400. It'll give it some time to come back. Let's run it. I'll probably. Okay, so boom. Congrats, you're powerful. Oh, one thing is we don't actually have. Notice that made the bullet bigger, right? Now let's go over here and test them all because I have a type, but the type isn't like I never set type 1. So how would I set it, right? Well, I might say in here pu.type equals I could say 2 just to test 2 works, test 1, or I could go math dot random times 3, right? And again, I have to go in. So that's a random number. It's either 0, 1, or 2. It's never 3. Okay, and that's actually exactly what I want. Now, when I make more types, I'll just change that number. And the only other thing is what's sad is the user doesn't know what type it is. Now, you would use different images, but just for the sake of me testing it, you see here I'm painting the power up. I'm going to write the number right beside it so that me as the coder, I know what type it is. And you would put an if statement here. You would say if it's this type, draw this image. If it's a health bar, maybe it looks like a little health thing. So we're going to draw pu.type, and we're going to draw it. Where are we going to draw it? Well, we are going to draw it at pu.x minus 10, which is a little bit to the left of the power up, so we see the number. pu.y minus 10, which is a little bit above, so we see the number. And I think that's it. So let's see, g.drawString. Does it want, it doesn't like that, eh? I think it needs, comma. I don't know, actually. So if I run it, it's going to tell me what's wrong. Cancel. It says the method drawString is not applicable. Oh, I've got 3 ints. Now, actually, I want this to be a string. I want this to be a sentence, but it knows it's an integer. And so what I could actually do is just go quote, and I could say the type is, right? Plus, and now it's going to work, but only I don't want the type is. I just want the number. So I could actually just delete it. And there, and now it knows that's a string. And what's the string? It's the number of whatever type of power up this is. And so notice that's type 0, right? Boom. Now, let's just go back. Every time we respond the power up, and I respond the power up in the hero's move when he hits it. Notice I put it up here. Well, let's again say pu. So each time it responds differently. Equals math.random times 3. So now when I hit it, hopefully it's different each time, and I can test each type and see how they work. And eventually I'll do a different image for each power up, but I'll leave that to you. So 0, is something wrong with my code? It shouldn't be 0 every time. Let's see. I'm giving it some time to come down. Did I move it? I moved it way too much, -400. Let's do back to 0. Now that might be good in the game, but it's not good for testing. So let's try again. Why is it 0? It shouldn't be 0. What is that? pu.type p.if should not be 0. I'm doing something funny. Run. You know what? A couple things are interesting there. One, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's go back to bubbles at the top. du equals math.random times 3. Oh, that's the brackets. Yeah, it's the brackets. Because I cast it before I times it. That's so funny. And I got to do it in here too. I got to do the brackets again. Now the other thing I didn't really get is why wasn't it moving the second time? That's really weird. This is if it hits the hero. Okay, well let's give it a try. Okay, so that works. Boom. But something's wrong with that move. I don't get why it's not drawn. Oh, because maybe I didn't change the Y speed, right? Y speed. This is the hero. If it hits the PU, set it back up. Now, at any time did I change the PU's Y speed? No, something's happening. So this is good. You get to watch me debug something. Y speed is equal to 2. It should be dropping. Oh, look at that. There we go. So when it hits the ground, I stop its Y speed, and then when I respawn it, I don't ever set its Y speed. So in hero.move, when I put it back up, notice this puts it back up. I also need to say, well, you're going to drop again. PU dot Y speed, and is it? I guess it's 2 to drop it. So let's go. Boom. Okay. Now that one was health, one was bullets. Yeah, kind of works. Okay. Now normally I would love to give you this code, but I noticed that a lot of people take my code and almost no one watches my video. So I'm not gonna give you this code, but I will post the video. Good luck.